welcome back, gear nerds. Coming up, you're going to see the walkthrough of the installation of this Bigsby B7 using a Vibramate adapter onto the Les Paul 59 reissue. Vibramate V7 Bigsby Les Paul mounting kit. Variety of feedback about this on the forum, so I decided to buy one myself and see how we go. It says installs in minutes, no drilling required. Well, I believe no drilling, but I don't believe that it installs in minutes. That seems absolutely stupid. For a start, restringing a Bigsby takes about 10 minutes. Okay. Let's open her up and see what's inside the kit. Finish warning. This is something I'm slightly worried about. Okay, what does it say here? Helpful hardware identifier. Select type. USA thread. Metric thread. Front mounting screws. Long. Tailpiece mounting screws. Short. Do not over tighten. A sticker. I'm not going to put that on my Les Paul. And here are the installation instructions. We've got one plate. Seems like a lot of money for a very small. It's very light, goodness me. It's very light. It's made of aluminium, of course. And there's the tailpiece. And in here are the various bolts and things to attach to your guitar. Well, the first task is to take strings off. Here's my tailpiece. It was a good moment when you take the strings off to give everything a little wipe over. I'm going to put a little bit of this Music Nomad F1 oil on the fingerboard. Yeah. Just a little spot on each fret. Keep everything healthy. The other thing I'm going to do is put a little bit of lubrication in the nut. I'm using a little bit of this Music Nomad Tune It. I'm not sure if I'm totally convinced whether this works, but it's slightly cheaper than the nut sauce stuff, so that's why I went for it. Now the instructions say visually inspect the mounting plate for alignment. That looks like it mounts. Remove the strings, we've done that. Remove the stop tailpiece, done that, and also remove both mounting screws. These are just held in, they're not screwed down very tightly at all. The finish on there is not very impressive, Gibson. Now we have to remove the strap, screw and end pin from the guitar. Let's do that. Okay, that's done. We've removed the end pin. Now we have to test the screws. It says determine if you need metric or imperial. It says English, I call it imperial. By testing. But to be honest, I don't need to test because they must be imperial, because this is an American Les Paul. It certainly is imperial, so there you go. Those two are tested. Place the mounting plate on your guitar with the felt side down and the curved front mount edge towards the tunematic bridge. Use the insert spacers beneath the mounting plate if needed. Align the mounting holes with inserts and secure with correct mounting screws. Do not over tighten. One thing I want to warn you about when you're working on your guitar is be very careful that your screwdriver doesn't hit the top. So that's that part. Step 7, prepare the Bigsby B7 vibrato for mounting by first removing the felt pads on the front feet of the vibrato itself. So here's my real vibrato with its own fitting equipment. Here's the Bigsby, and it says we have to. Why would we need to do that? Seems a bit odd. Okay, that's 1 and 2. So now they're removed. Align the Vibramate tailpiece plate with the hinge plate on the B7 vibrato. The mounting holes will only fit in one direction and the felt pads should be facing towards the guitar. Do not over tighten. Secure the vibrato hinge plate to the Vibramate tailpiece plate with the 4. That made no sense to me. Align the Vibramate tailpiece plate with the hinge plate on the Bigsby B7. The mounting holes will only fit in one direction and the felt pads should be facing towards the guitar. Do not over tighten. Aha! So basically we have to attach this plate to this and make sure the felt is pointing in towards the guitar. So now that is installed. Now I had a bit of difficulty because if you tighten these two up first, then these don't quite line up. So you have to leave them, get them all in loosely first. And also I'm not too keen on the fact that there's a little bit of screw sitting proud here, which I don't want to have pressing up against my guitar. Now the felt pad should be thick enough. So now here's the first moment. We're going to attach that using these 2 small screws. It says rotate this slightly because this is now slightly too high. In fact, it doesn't really go in. I have to bend it slightly, which is a bit odd. Now we have to install the spring. Oh, it's nice and shiny. We have to install the spring into the Bigsby, but how do we make sure it stays there? Let's have a look in the instructions. I see. I've just realised the tension of the strings keeps the spring in. Brand new set of strings, here we come. That's a bit tricky with Bigsby's, working out which way round this goes, and they are a devil to do. One of the tricks that everybody says about this is bending the string first when you do it. Goes on there, and then it goes underneath the tension bar, and that's exactly what happens. It falls out while you're doing it. Okay, that's one string on. Let's do the next one. Next one. Bend it over. Pass it under the tension bar. And round. Okay, let's tune it up. I've got my new strobo clip. Wow, my first impression is this is a lot heavier. Wow. Well, it tuned up. New strings are always a thing, always a tricky thing. And goodness me, it actually feels pretty good. My impression is that the guitar is very heavy, but goodness me, the vibrato really adds something to the playing experience. Okay, well, this is the part of the video where I am going to say, if you've got anything out of the video, if you've liked what you've seen, please hit the like button, please hit subscribe. It really helps the channel and helps me create a lot more content like this in the future. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. So, what are my conclusions having done that? So let me just tell you some conclusions about the installation. First of all, it doesn't take minutes. Well, I suppose it does take minutes if you count 60 minutes as minutes. But if you're going to do this installation, I would recommend having a very clear work area, getting your tools ready, and take your time to follow the instructions carefully, hopefully just as I did during the video. Some of the video you've just seen, I speeded up, and so there's some bits of it that took me quite a bit longer than you saw. So like I say, probably at least 45 minutes to an hour, because you've got to orientate yourself to the issue, and just restringing takes time and thinking about what this means. And I really recommend thinking about it at every step. Apart from that, first of all, I said in the video that it adds quite a bit of weight. I'm really sorry, but I didn't weigh the guitar beforehand. But I'm going to say this, as a Les Paul, wasn't that heavy. I don't know if you know, but the 59s have weight relief inside. And I would say this was not on the super heavy end. So I'm going to say that was about a 7.5 pound guitar, but it feels more like an 8 pound or beyond guitar now. Pretty hefty. In use, of course, what people say is you can't reach the volume control, and you kind of can't get to the volume control, the neck volume control easy. You can get to the bridge volume control, but hey, I'm not a gigging guitar player, so it doesn't matter to me so much. But I think if I was on stage, might mean that I'd need to think about the way I use the volume, at least the neck volume control, a little bit. So the $64,000 question is, what's the tuning stability like? Well, so far it's not amazing. I've got a couple of other Bigsby guitars, and they hold tuning pretty well. I've put some of the, you probably saw in the video, I've put some lubrication in the nut, and I put, just this morning, I put a little bit of lemon oil onto the bridge, but I think it needs a little bit more work. Now, the basic problem is, well, let's play you an E chord. Sounds okay, but if I just pop my tuner on, okay, E's not bad, little bit sharp there. D's good, G's super flat, and funnily enough, the G doesn't really settle all that well. Okay, there it is in tune. B's good. E was a little bit flat. But now let's just let's try it again. E's good. A little bit flat. D. G gone flat. B gone a little bit flat. E's good. So, but I'm not sure I can really hear it. My ears aren't that good anyway, are they? So let's have a little bit of playing. Well, who says you can't play heavy rock with a Bigsby? Okay, overall what I think, it's a lot of fun. Personally, I like guitars with trems on, so it's really improved the Les Paul as an enjoyable guitar to play. And by the way, a lot of people in the forums criticize Gibson, but this is a really great guitar and it sounds good, it feels good to play. And depending on your point of view, it looks great too. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. See you next time.